Come on. My hands are so cold. Hey, Valerie. There's Susan. Brenda, how are you? Gloria. Let me get YouTube up here. YouTube's usually a little bit behind Facebook, so I always get you guys first, then I come over here. Looks like we're up. Good deal. There we go. All right, and if anybody's on my group, on Terry's Wreaths Works page, just let me know. Be sure you say hi. Put any questions you might have in the comments. We're going to try to multitask here today. So anyway, today is Bow Tuesday, and we talk all about ribbons, bow making, how to coordinate your bows to your project, that kind of thing. And today is the day we're going to be working on the Easy Bow Maker. And if you're not familiar with that, this is what the Easy Bow Maker is. And you can get these anywhere. I've actually got a link for one on shopliketerry.com. We'll take you right to buy one. I think it's on Amazon. But I think I've seen these even at Hobby Lobby before. But anyway, it's really nice if you have trouble with your hands, like you have arthritis, sore hands, something like that. This job right here, it holds your ribbon for you. So most people, whenever I talk to them, they have trouble with their hands. It's just trying to hold the ribbon once they start making the bow. And this does that for you. Okay? Hey, Kelly. There's Jania. Got anybody on YouTube? Hi, Jamie. How are you? All right. So we'll go ahead and get started. Now, the first thing I wanted to talk about was, if you were on my live the other night, I was putting this bunny on a wreath form, showed you how to attach that. If you're interested, there's another video on my Facebook page. I believe I did it on YouTube also, where I showed you how to attach these. But as I said during the video, I was planning on using this spray here, but I only had one of them and I needed two. So I went to Hobby Lobby yesterday, and lo and behold, they had several of these. So they've got them again this year. Now I know not all Hobby Lobbies are the same, but I've seen this probably, I'm going to guess, the last 3 or 4 years at least. But it's very springy. It has all these bright colors, and so I was planning on using this. Like I said, I was going to put one here, and then place a bow over here in the corner. But whenever I pulled this spray out, actually, let me get this guy put up here. When I pulled this spray out to use it again, I thought, well, that'd be good. This would be a good spray to talk about on Bow Tuesday, because it can be a little bit tricky to pair a ribbon with this, and I'm going to explain my process on how I do that. Okay? Hey, Cindy. Hey, Susan. And so anyway, I pulled several. What I do, I literally just take my spray over to my ribbon stash and just go through the aisle. And now, one thing you got to watch, though, on a spray like this, it has so many colors going on. It has it has kind of a peachy color. It has the yellow. It has this pink, and then it also has a lime green to it. And if I'm going to put it on that wreath there, I've also got to take into consideration that I've got the bunny I need to coordinate with that. And so I guess I should keep this out while we're talking. But the tendency is to want to match all these colors, which in a perfect world, that'd be fine. But when you have a color palette like this, and then you go to try to match your ribbon to your spray, it can get really, really busy quick. So I usually try to work toward having something a little bit simple, just a little calming. I usually try to stay with one, maybe two colors, but I'm going to show you some ribbons that I pulled that I haven't decided on the final one yet, but I wanted to show you what I pulled that would coordinate with this bow. As I said, my first one was, I was just thinking something real simple and quiet. It's already pretty loud and bold, right? And so I was thinking either a burlap, just a plain burlap. If you wanted to, you could throw one more ribbon on top of it. You could throw any one of those colors. Let me grab everything. I should have put these on the table, I guess. You could even put something like this with it, but I wouldn't put this with it without that, without the burlap, because the burlap will kind of center it and kind of provide a background for the ribbon and kind of, you know, make it a focal point in itself. Now, if you wanted to go somewhere else with it, you want to put a little color with it, you could do that. Now, if you wanted to pull in this coral color or the yellow color as well, you could also maybe bring something real tiny in the center, like a small daisy, something like that, of the color that you chose. But I was thinking also, if I was going to bring in a burlap, it also coordinates with that bunny, right? So now another option would be, if you don't want to go the burlap route, if it looked too heavy, you could go with something like this. Something like this, kind of a tan or a natural colored with a little bit of the white lattice color or lattice work. And again, if you wanted to, you could bring in a colored ribbon as well and do just like what I said. You could always throw in another color in the center of that bow. But I'm thinking more burlap to go with the bunny. This also would go with the bunny, but his texture is kind of rough, and so that's why I was kind of thinking burlap, like this. Another possibility, if you didn't, you know, if you wanted a whole lot of bold colors, you could go with something like this. It has all the colors. It has the yellow. It has the pink. Now it doesn't have the coral or the peach, I guess. Well, that almost looks like a peach right there on the tips of those petals. I don't know if you can see that. It's right there by that black. But you could do that, but I would not leave this by itself. I would put it with a solid ribbon that'll kind of quiet down and again center your colors. I didn't have this in a 2.5, or I would have used a 2.5, maybe that in the center. Okay. Here's another option too that I wasn't even thinking this route until I saw this ribbon in there, but I like a pop of black on a lot of florals. It just makes it a little bit more vibrant, and I thought that would be really pretty. And you could use that by itself, or you could pair it with another solid. That'd be really pretty. I wouldn't probably, again, I wouldn't put too many colors with it though. I wouldn't try to get all the colors in my ribbon. I would maybe, you know, use it somewhere else. Again, if I was doing that color, I would probably try to find a little daisy in that peach color. Does that make sense? I hope it does. But anyway, I just, like I said, that just came to me whenever I was looking for my matching ribbon for this. And one thing I wanted to consider though too, when I've got this ribbon right here sitting all by itself in my stash over there, I think it looks like an orange ribbon. But look what it does when I pair it with these. It looks a little bit more coral. So I wouldn't necessarily put it right up next to this. I don't know if you can appreciate the color difference on camera or not, but I wouldn't necessarily put it right up next to it. But you could certainly do something like this, and it almost darkens. It almost darkens the flower, and it lightens the ribbon. I mean, it's the same, basically the same color, just a little bit less tint. So, okay. Does anybody have any questions about that? Hey, Phyllis. You doing okay, Jamie, on YouTube? Let's see if we got anybody else over here. But I get a lot of questions about you know, ribbon combinations. Now here's another thing too. I did pull this one also. This one would go with it as well. To me, this is going to be too busy though. Even if I put it with a solid, even if I pair this with a solid, it's such a bold stripe, it's going to just come off too busy. So I just brought this over to show you because it was the right color palette, but it just didn't do it for me. I just think it's too busy. Okay, hey Sharon, Cindy, Pauletta, and another Sharon. How are you guys doing today? All right, so that's all I had to tell you about that. And I do the same thing whether I've got a floral bush I'm trying to pair, or a sign, or a character, like a, you know, like some kind of wreath attachment, something like that. I do the very same process. I take it over to my stash and I'm just shopping. Oh my, Phyllis, they don't have any sprays like that yet? I wonder if they have them online. They might, because they had a bunch of them at my Hobby Lobby. Okay, all right, now we're going to make a bow, and unfortunately I just have time for one bow today. I actually stopped a meeting so I could go to do this live, so I need to get back to it. But I was going to make another patriotic bow today. Now you might think, well, 4th of July or Memorial Day, that's a long ways away, but people, I find, buy memorial ribbons all year long, memorial or patriotic. You know, sometimes they do it for maybe a service member that passed, or you know, somebody that had a veteran that had passed, something like that. Sometimes just for whatever's going on in the country. But I try to keep at least one patriotic bow in my shop all year long. I just got these ribbons listed today. They're on boxmybow.com. And we're going to go ahead and make a bow with it. But you know, patriotic to me is pretty straightforward to match. I mean, it's red, white, and blue, right? Unless you use the rustic like what we did last week. But I just saw these together at market, and I thought that would make a really nice setting. I'm planning on using this ribbon as my background, because normally I might put it the other way around, but let me undo these and I'll show you why. Because you got to consider not just the colors or the pattern, but you also got to consider the consistency of your ribbon. And this ribbon here is a really stout, nice ribbon. I mean, really good. I mean, I don't know if you can even hear it crinkle whenever I'm bending it here, but it's really a nice ribbon. While this one, it's okay, but the body of it is such that I think if I put it down on the bottom, it's going to get crushed. I mean, it's satin ribbon. The body of it, or the material of it's not great. I mean, it's okay. Again, it has enough glitter where it's going to hold basically where you put it, but not if you put a little pressure on it. It probably won't. The wire's probably medium also, whereas this is strong bodied, strong wire. That's, I would say, medium body wire, probably medium, light to medium bodied ribbon or material. Okay, so those are things I think about whenever I'm designing a bow and when I'm purchasing ribbon. But where I was, that's all I had, so that's what I got. Okay, and then I like this one real well. This one actually will work for lots of other purposes too, but it just has this little pinstripe down the center of it, and it's a really nice canvas. Real nice wire and real nice bodied material. So, all right, so let's go ahead. But like I said, I do not plan on putting this as the background. This is going to be my background. Okay. All right, now let me go ahead and get this all out of the way and we'll get started. So I'm going to pull you forward. And then I'm going to drop you down, so close your eyes if this kind of thing bothers you. Hey, Rose. Get right in the center there, and we will zoom in. All right. Now, like I said, this is the Easy Bow Maker. This is where we are going to make our bow. This is where we're going to hold the ribbon. And people always ask me about this little peg, and this is for baby bows, like little bitty tiny bows. I've never used it. These two pegs here, they're kind of spread apart there. Let me hammer these in. Close your ears here. I'm going to hammer a second. And these will splay a little bit more as I use it, but I have glued them in. But apparently, I guess the new Easy Bow Makers are pretty tight. In fact, I had some people asking about how do I get my stuff down in there if they're so tight. But I think probably over time those will loosen, because mine certainly have. So I'm going to start out, and we're going to put our ribbon on, and we want the ribbon to come off and away from us on the Easy Bow Maker. It just makes it a little bit easier to manage, and it's out of your way. On the Maker, it has these marks where it, you can tell it's marked off in the inches. The whole board is about 20 inches, and it goes out to 8 as far as your ruler here on either side. And this ribbon here is what we call one-sided ribbon, meaning it has a good side and a bad side. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and measure out our tail. I'm wanting about a 14-inch tail on this bow. So I start over here about 6, come down here about 8, so that's 14 inches. I am going to dovetail this before I get started, though. To dovetail it, I'm going to take the 2 wired edges, and I'm going to fold that ribbon together. And I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm going to cut it at an angle. So then whenever I open the ribbon up, it's going to look like this nice finished end with in the shape of a V. Some people call that fishtailing. I've always been taught it was dovetailing. So, all right, so we've got our 14 inches. So I'm going to take my thumb here, and that's right here is the center of the bow. I'm going to mark the center of my center of my bow here. I'm going to take this down vertically down those pegs. The good side's going to be facing away from me. I'm going to twist it as I take it down. Make sure that you get a complete twist, and we're going to push that down against the board. Okay, just like that. Now the reason we twist this is that we need to have the good side of the ribbon, or the right side of the ribbon, showing to the outside whenever we're finished with the bow, right? So if I had not twisted that, it would be the wrong side of the ribbon on the outside. Okay. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to make this about a 5-inch bow loop, maybe a hair over. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to find my 5 inches, and I'm going to mark that with my thumb. Okay. I'm going to come over here, see just about where it needs to go down the peg again. I'm going to go again with the good side away from me. I'm going to twist it, push it down. Boy, that ribbon's stiff. It almost feels like paper, it's so stiff. All right, so now we're going to come over here to the other side. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go about 5, like that. I'm going to take it down, twist it as I go down. Okay, just like that. Now I'm going to make 2 loops on either side for this bow. So I'm going to come over here. I already have this peg, or this loop measured, so I'm just going to use it as a comparison. I got my other hand up here. I'm going to be measuring that where I need to put it down the peg. I'm going to do the same process. Good sides facing away. Twist it, push it down. All right, we'll come back over here to the other side. Same thing. We've already got a bow loop. There's the middle of my, or where my peg needs to go, or where the ribbon needs to go down the peg, I'm sorry. All right, now, this one I'm just going to put 2 loops on either side, so I already have the right side of the ribbon looking at me. I don't need to twist it this time. So I'm just going to pinch it, kind of tuck it in there together, set it down, push it down there, and come down. Now I'm just going to spread my loops out here. If you want to make more loops, you can. I try to mix up just the type of bows I make, so it's whatever you like to do. You could put 3, do like 3, 2, 1, or you could do 3, 2, 1, whatever you want to do, okay? All right, I'm going to come down here now, and I'm going to measure my other tail for comparison. I'm going to trim that off. Now I'm going to dovetail it. Again, I'm just folding that in half. And I'm going to cut it at an angle. Okay, so now I've got my finished ends. And if you want to wait until the end to do that, you can. It's whatever your preference is. If you're just learning to make bows on the Easy Bow Maker, I'd probably wait till the end. Then you can focus on one thing at a time. Now, the reason I just did the 2, I want to put the white, I want to put just 1 white across here. As I said, that the white ribbon is just a little bit more flimsy than that one is. So I'm going to come here. Now I cannot dovetail this style of ribbon because it's going to just fold over on itself. So I'm just going to cut that at an angle. And I'm going to cut it right through that star there on purpose because now I know that side's not going to curl. See, the other side's wanting to curl in on itself, and that's the whole reason we didn't want to dovetail it. But if you've got something like that that you can plan and cut through it, it's not that ribbon, or I'm sorry, that glitter makes the ribbon a little bit more stiff. All right, now I'm going to come down here. I'm going to compare this to my other tail, however I like it. I like to have mine with gradually shorter tails as the closer we get to the center of the bow. All right, I'm going to take this up. I've got my thumb here. I'm going to take the good side of the ribbon facing away, slide it down, push it down. It is pretty ribbon though, I have to say. All right, now I'm just going to do 1 loop on either side. If you'd rather to put 2, you can do that, but I'm just going to put 1, again, because the ribbon's just a little bit on the frail side. All right, I'm going to make it the same length here, though. I'm going to try and get right between there. I'm going to bring it about my 5 inches there. We're going to twist it as we go down, push it down. And that's going to separate these 2 loops right here. Right now I'm going to come back over here. Come over here, and again, this is the last loop I'm going to make, so I don't need to twist it again. I've got my 5 inches. I'm going to pinch it, push it down. All right, come back down here. Got my tail. I'm going to compare. And when I am comparing, or whenever I'm going to be cutting my ribbon that I don't dovetail, I like when I put these 2 together that they make a V. And I'll show you what I mean here in a second. Let me go ahead and trim it. And I don't have a big star on that side to cut through, so. But you can see now I've got a V. When I put those 2 together. All right, now And you'll notice I keep pushing this down, and that's so that the bow center is good and tight. You want that really pushed down there well. All right, now, you know what? I should have brought in a silver too. I think a silver, what I'm wanting to do, I think a silver would really look pretty. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and dovetail. I'm going to come here, compare my tails. So I'm a little bit shorter again. I've got my finger up here where the ribbon needs to go down the center. My Band-Aid gets stuck to the stuck to the ribbon. All right, push it down. Now I'm going to make 2 loops on either side of this one. And I'm going to make it a little bit shorter this time, probably about 4.5 inches. And I cannot see my marks now. I could if I pushed them apart, but I don't want to have to do that. I'm just going to look down here on my cutting mat, which I've got it lined up as far as the grid. So I'm going to come down here and look about 4.5 inches. Okay, so we're measured out about 4.5 inches there. I'm going to twist it, push it down. I'm going to come over here about 4.5 inches. Good side's going away. Twist it, push it down. Just keep repeating the process till my last loop. Over here I'm comparing. Twist it, push it down. All right, I'm going to come over here. I do not have to twist it. Last one. I'll pinch it. Push it down. And that looks a little bit long. There we go. And that's the trouble with the Easy Bow Maker. Sometimes you can't, or I can't get it exactly, all of the loops exactly the same because we've got all this play here. And but I mean, you can look at it and you can adjust it as you need, just like I did there. I just pulled that in just a little bit. All right, now let's get our tail. Flip it off. I'm going to dovetail it. You know what, I really want to put a silver there. Just 1 loop of silver. Or you could put a navy or a red. Well, no, I wouldn't do red. Let me see if I've got any silver handy here. Hang on, I'll be right back. There we go. And I don't have this as part of the bundle because when I put that bow together there, I thought that would really look pretty like that. And you'll find that too. And that's one thing with the Easy Bow Maker, that you can see your bow as you're making it and kind of plan it out. If you don't, and you know, you can look back through some of my videos, and I didn't like the way some of them were looking, so we changed it. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. This is a little tiny ribbon. So I'm just going to make just a little bitty highlight right here in the center. We're going to do it just like we did before. I'm just going to make a small loop on either side, 1 loop on either side. Let's make it, 2.5, 3 inches. I'm going to twist it in the middle. Come back over here, and I've got my finger there because it's not wanting to stay together. It's wanting to kind of, all the ribbons want to poof up there. That just kind of finishes it off. It brings that silver that's on the white ribbon here to the forefront. I just think it's a pretty finish. Now, let's see. Bring these down here. And these also, I just cut at an angle. I wouldn't dovetail them. They're just, it's too small to even appreciate it. Now, to get this off of the bow maker, we're going to take our zip tie, or if you don't have a zip tie, you can always use a pipe cleaner. And what I'm going to do, underneath the underneath the ribbon, I'm going to put this zip tie crosswise. And that's another thing too on the people that were saying that the pegs were too tight on theirs. You can always put it down there sideways, like this, and then connect it as you pull it up. But I'm going to take that underneath here. I'm going to make sure this little knob here is pointed toward the feet, toward my feet. All right, now I'm going to put it sideways through there. Go through diagonally. And now I'm just going to attach it. I'm not cinching it down. I'm just attaching it. Now I'm going to bring that ribbon up slowly. And now before you attach that, you want to make sure you've got all your ribbon. Okay? I'm going to slide this up. Get this out of the way. I'm going to cinch this down just to where it's manageable. Just to where I can let off a little bit of pressure on my hands. Okay? So it's just holding the ribbon. That's it. I'm going to go ahead now. I'm going to start rearranging my tails and my loops the way I want them. Make sure all my tails are where I'm facing forward. Everything looks good. Down there. Now I'm going to look at my loops. I want to be sure that this white, this one loop here, is in between those two navy ones. And then the same thing with my red. I want to be sure it's showing through the red. That guy still looks a little bit long. I've pulled on that 2 or 3 times. It's dropping down just a little bit more. There we go. Surely that's good. Okay, now once I'm reasonably happy with it, let me check these guys. And again, anytime I've got a 1 between a 2, I want to make sure it's in the middle. Because I've done that for a reason, just to kind of separate those, highlight them. All right, now once I like it, I'm going to turn it over. And we're going to have some way to attach this to our wreath, our swag, our lantern, whatever we're going to be putting this on. So I use a brown pipe cleaner because a lot of people use them on grapevine wreaths, and this is going to be easily disguisable in the wreath. But if you wanted to use a zip tie or something else, you could. Floral wire, you could use that. I'm going to slide that right underneath of that zip tie. We'll come back and make sure I've got it right still. Now I'm going to cinch it the rest of the way down. And a lot of times I'll need to, this one's kind of hard, for some reason it doesn't want to cinch down very well. I'm going to clip this off. Alright, so there's our bow. Now, if I was putting this in a wreath, I would not do this step, but I am making this bow to sell. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put something to cover that zip tie, because I don't want that to, you know, have this nice pretty bow and then that zip tie showing. So I'm going to look at my ribbons and decide which one I want to put in the center. And I wouldn't put the silver probably. I'm thinking I kind of like the navy. Even though I don't usually use a 2.5 inch, but I kind of like the navy to do that. That's what I'm going to do. So normally I would take a 1.5 inch ribbon, I would cut it in half. That would be what we use. But since I'm using a 2.5, I need to cut it a little bit smaller. I won't do half, but I'll do about 1/3. So let's just clip it right down the center. And I usually try to do about 8, 9, 10 inches. You do not want to short yourself on this part. And then I'll save the rest of it and I'll use it on another bow. Actually, this didn't even ravel whenever I cut it. Huh. It's really nice ribbon. All right, now I'm going to trim that. Okay, so that's what I have. I'm going to take it, I'm going to fold it in half. Just like that, so that that raw edge doesn't show. I'm going to slide that right over that zip tie. Just like that. I'm going to flip it over. Tie it in a knot. This is the part where I told you don't get it too short, because this makes this part really hard. Okay. I'm going to trim those ends off, make it nice and neat. And now we've got a nice finished bow. Isn't that pretty? And as I said, if you wanted to, you could put more. You could put like 3 loops of this, of the navy. You could do 2 loops of the white, and then you could do 1 loop of the red. I just wanted to separate them out like that. Do 2, 2, or 2, 1, 2, 1. All right, I'm going to back up now, raise you guys up. Like I said, I just have time for 1 bow today, unfortunately. But we did the talking about the matching the ribbons, so hopefully you benefited from that. Hi, Irene, Nancy. Does anyone have any questions? Hey, Jamie. All right, Vanita. Love the colors of the bow. Oh, yes, Vanita, yes, that's what I was saying. I have that same problem. Vanita on YouTube was saying that she has trouble with the keeping the loops at the same size and moving in the middle. That's exactly right. That's why, I mean, if I have to have a bow exactly the same size and very, like a perfect bow, I usually go with the Pro Bow for that reason, because there's no leeway on that one. It's exactly the way you put it. Even when I make my bows by hand, a lot of times I can't get them exactly the same size. So, but yes, that is one part I don't like too much about the Easy Bow Maker, but it's manageable. All right, any questions? Hey, Tina. I don't see any questions. Let me scroll up through here and make sure I didn't miss anybody. I usually don't look up while I'm making a bow, because then I get sidetracked. Hey, Susan in sunny Mississippi. Has it warmed up down there? We're actually supposed to get a little bit of warmth today. Hey, Marilyn. I noticed that when I let the dog out before I came down, some of the snow was starting to melt off the roof of the house. So that'll be good, because we're still covered. We still got a lot of snow. Not so much on the roads anymore, but our backyard's complete snow still. All right, no other questions. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys get back to your day. And as I said, I do have I have this ribbon set right here in my shop. And I have enough. I might even put them separately later. I won't be able to do it today, but I might put them even in there separately. But if you want to buy the kit, that's available. And then I'll see what else I've got. I still have other unlisted ribbons also. I've just been so busy. I haven't been able to get it listed yet. So, all right. Any other questions? All right, thank you guys so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. Group members, remember we've got our wreath critiques. It's going to start about 3. And if you have any last minute designs you want reviewed, just put them in our post on our group page. And, oh, Betty's wanting to know, do I ever use the Bowdabra? I use it, Betty, but I don't use it to make bows. I like back when I used to make the snowman wreaths with the ruffles all around. I used to use that to hold my mesh. but I don't use it to make bows with. It's a little bit more too wobbly for me. But yeah, I have one. But it has more uses than bows. Okay, I don't see any other questions. Thank you guys, everybody on Facebook and YouTube. And again, group members, tune in about 3 o'clock, and we'll be doing our wreath critiques.